red button means we're live. Some Casual Takes, episode 88, getting up there in age. Hosted by your boy, Stephen Pepper, here to casually talk sports. This episode is brought to you by no one, because no one knows who we are. I'm here today with some rare guests on the pod. We got Donnie. Shout out to Donnie for coming on, first time on the stream, and Kieran, long time guest appearance. As you see by the title, we're talking NFL wildcard predictions for this season. I got to have some guests on to help me with these predictions because I'm not going to lie, I'm stuck. Last year was perfect. I mean, I kind of fumbled the bag a little bit, picking the Bills over the Bengals, but I was pretty much perfect. Wild card perfect. I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. I thought they were going to ride the DeMar Hamlin script. That just didn't work. But other than that, I've been perfect. But this year, I'm not as confident, so I got some help. And also talk about Jerod Mayo. He just got hired by the Patriots to replace Bill Belichick, and we're going to start with that, of course. Got a little Lakers to get off my chest, but that's towards the end. Let's start with Jerod Mayo becoming the new head coach of the New England Patriots. So the original topic today, I was going to talk about the Patriots because last show I talked about Bill Belichick parting ways with the Patriots, and today, originally I wanted to talk to you guys who should replace Bill Belichick because there was a lot of Vrabel, there was a lot of guys up in discussion. Throughout the year, I've always been keeping my eyes on Jerod Mayo, but I was like, now with Vrabel opening up, would they actually do it? But they did. Less than 24 hours after parting ways, they replaced him with Jerod Mayo. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the hiring. Do you like the hiring? Do you not like the hiring? I mean, this is a guy who they've been molding to be the head coach of that team for quite some time now. We could tell by that contract extension he got last offseason. If anyone wants to start, just quick thoughts. We don't have to spend enough time on it.
Yeah, I'll start real quick. I've been a Jerod Mayo fan ever since he was a player. He was one of my personal favorite players in the NFL back when he was on New England for all those years. Something I will say is I think this is kind of expected. Like, they've been hyping up this dude for the last 2 years. You know, they were saying eventually he was going to go down the line to become the defensive coordinator and then move on his way up to head coach. That didn't happen because he just went from the linebacker coach all the way to the head coaching spot. This is a guy who's going to bring crazy culture, right away. All the players love him from what I'm able to tell. And something else I do want to kind of add on is that I think the hiring of Jerod Mayo shows me that they're probably going to take a quarterback at third overall. I thought if they would have hired Jerod Mayo, the hiring of Jerod Mayo would have. I think because of that, they're going to draft the quarterback third overall. I think if it would have been Mike Vrabel, I think they would have gone out, maybe get a veteran like a Kirk Cousins or a Joe Flacco. Vrabel's dealt with veteran quarterbacks before. I think Jerod Mayo wants a fresh start. Luckily for him, this is a decent QB class. Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then obviously, Jaden Daniels, whatever you think of him. The NFL likes him more than a lot of other people. Seems like he's probably going to go top 5. Maybe the Patriots snag him at 3. That's basically my main takeaway is that I think I love the hire. I think this is a great culture guy. I think this is a guy who's been built up as this head coach for a few years now, much similar to D'Amico. Like, I think this is a guy who is going to come in, elevate the team with his culture, bring life to that locker room, which desperately needs life right now after that pathetic season in New England. And I think they go after a quarterback in the draft. That's basically my takeaway.
Kieran, you have a take?
My thing is, I thought they would look at Mike Vrabel first because he's coached under Bill Belichick, and usually, the Patriots like people that were coached under Bill Belichick. They like to bring guys back. I thought, he never coached for Bill Belichick, but he's played under Bill Belichick, and I don't know. I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked that it happened so early. I thought maybe they would take a week, look at other options. But if they like Jerod Mayo, and he's been the inside linebackers coach for about 4 years now. I mean, I don't hate the hire. I just wish he was the defensive coordinator first until he was that coach. I think going from an inside linebackers job to the head coaching job is a massive jump. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
Dan Campbell did it. I mean, he was able to do it. He was the tight ends coach, I believe, at the Saints before he got all the way brought up to the head coaching spot for the Lions, and he's done a good job. So maybe
at least for Dan Campbell, at one point he was interim head coach, and he had some coordinator, head coach experience. I think Freddie Kitchens is a guy who made that jump. I believe. I'm gonna look up Freddie Kitchens's.
Oh god, Freddie Kitchens sucked.
Freddie Kitchens's coaching record. Yeah. Freddie Kitchens was. But Freddie Kitchens was an offensive coordinator for at least 1 point. This is like an extreme jump.
Yeah,
to your point. But I think when I talked on this pod yesterday about possibly who could replace Belichick, I said, listen, the Patriots should just go young offensive head coach. And I said, the firing of Belichick gave him a chance. It's time. The Patriot way, the dynasty, the former players, the former coaches, it's over. Don't bring those guys back. It's time for Kraft for them to move on, get younger, new philosophy in the building. And, because it's an offensive league and their offense sucks. So young offensive head coach. They did go young. They went young. They got the youngest head coach in NFL history now. But, not the youngest in NFL history, but the youngest current head coach right now. But it's still a former Patriot and a Patriot coach. But I will say, though, to Donnie, your point, time will tell this is a good hiring. I'm not going to say whether this is a bad hiring or not. But what I do like what you said, Donnie, is I think he checks the most important box, which I'd want for my head coach. I want my head coach to be a play caller on the offensive side. But the number one thing he should do is be a leader and a culture setter. That's the bare minimum what a head coach should do. And I think you got the best guy on the market right now to build a Patriot culture. This is, a guy who has player buy-in. The Crafts love him. Belichick molded him to be the next head coach. They call him Belichick Jr. That's what I heard from former players in articles. And he's been a captain for a majority of his career when he was playing on a dynasty. Everyone loves him. The defense is bought in. So you're going to have player buy-in. But I think what's going to make or break this signing is who's their offensive coordinator. Because Jerod Mayo is not going to fix their offense.
Oh, no.
It's who their offensive coordinator is. That's the most important part. Because Mayo's going to do a good job with the defense, in my opinion. Yes, the defensive players bought in, locker rooms bought in. He's a great leader. But who make or break for the Patriots is who's their offensive coordinator and if they're going to draft a quarterback or not. And who could set up that quarterback for success. That's going to be important.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I mean, at this point, like as Donnie said, I think Jane Daniels is a Patriot. I really do. Even though Marvin Harrison Jr. would be nice because their wide receiver room is terrible. I think the Patriots should next year be bad, take Jane Daniels, and then next year look for wide receivers. So
yeah. And another thing that I can comment on is, as the big draft guy myself, what I can say is next year's QB class, 2025, because if you do pass on a QB this year, you're going to have to make the choice of, okay, we are going to take the risk and bet on the fact that the next year's draft will have a guy. That's what we're betting on. And unfortunately, as of right now,
that draft's not moving me.
I think Carson Beck has some nice stuff.
He's
got a little bit of ways to go. I think Shedeur Sanders has some nice stuff. I just think he's limited in terms of physicality, like your physical tools. He doesn't have the biggest arm. He's a good athlete, but he's not the super athlete. And he's not the biggest dude either. He's limited in terms of that. I like Jackson Dart. I like Quinn Ewers, but we need to see more out of these guys. As of right now, there is no Caleb Williams. There is no Drake May.
No.
There's no Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence. There's no guy that you're like, that's the guy we take number one overall, no question about it, or let alone top 5. There isn't a guy yet, which is why I think when you're evaluating the quarterback position, you got to take risk, in my opinion, but you also should be smart about it. You want to take risk, but you don't want to be too risky. And I think too risky would be not passing on a quarterback this year, or passing on a quarterback this year and going after one next year. And people say, yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. would be great. I'm not denying that. I think he's the best player in the draft. Heck, he's the best prospect I've watched since Myles Garrett. But what I will say is this receiver class is still really, really good. There's a lot of guys who are going to go to the second round and be plug-in starters right away. And I think New England getting that would be perfect. And if New England does draft the quarterback this year, next year, There just so happens to be another big-time receiver by the name of Luther Burden who could plug in right there if you do get a top pick in the draft. And I think that's another receiver who could plug in if you do want to take that chance. So I think it'd be smart to take a quarterback. The most important position in any professional sports is the quarterback position. They've been lacking it since Brady left. Mac Jones was just a miss. Bailey Zappi has not worked out. I would argue that New England needs quarterback more than anyone in the league. More than anyone in the league, New England needs a quarterback. You can go get a Kirk Cousins, sure, but at the end of the day, this is a rebuilding team. This is a rebuilding offense, and when you are a rebuilding offense, do you want to get a veteran quarterback, or do you want to go young? Me, I want to go young.
If you're a rookie head coach and like you're trying to be here for a while, you have to take a rookie quarterback. Like you have to. I mean, look at Belichick his first year. I know it's a little different, but Brady was drafted in like 6th round, but he took Brady in the 6th round. It worked out perfectly. So,
and then the moment Brady left, what did he do?
Nothing.
He drafted a quarterback.
Yeah.
Brady left. He had one season, and then he drafted a quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
They technically can still hang on to Mac Jones for a year. It's not like Mac Jones is like,
dude, Mac is gone.
Agent.
Mac is so
I know,
gone.
but I'm just saying they could technically. There's like a 1% chance to hang out. They can hang on to Mac Jones because
now listen. Is Matt Jones like was not good this year at all? But like, I'm gonna be honest, they didn't help him out at all.
No, I don't think they did.
They didn't give him any receivers. His best weapon was Hunter Henry. Like, I'm not saying that Mac is absolutely trash.
Yeah, Mac still sucks.
He still sucks, but they didn't help him out. And
there are worse starting quarterbacks in the NFL than Mac Jones. I think I can say that.
Yeah, I know the stats say that like Mac was like the worst quarterback in the league this year, but I think at his best he's like 20.
I think he's in the late teens, early 20 range. I think that's what you're looking at, and at the end of the day, that's just not good enough. And I think if you're lucky, maybe the Bears decide, or maybe even New England could trade up. There's definitely been rumors of them trading up for Caleb Williams. I don't know if that's going to happen because I'm a firm believer the Bears are going to take him. But if that does happen, I mean, that's an option you have to take because, like I said a few minutes ago, this team needs quarterback more than anyone. They need a quarterback.
Yeah, the Jerod Mayo thing, again, personally, I would have liked a young offensive head coach, then take a quarterback. I'm not really a fan of keeping the old Patriots around. I think it's just time to move on. But if Mayo truly has buy-in, which it sounds like, which is the most important thing a coach can have, is buy-in. Not how intelligent the coach is on X's and O's, just buy-in, leadership. If he has that, which it sounds like he does, then that's fine. The next step, though, offensive coordinator and who's the quarterback. Because if you don't fix that, then Mayo's going to look bad. If he doesn't have the quarterback, the offense is still going to suck. And
do you think he has a long leash?
League.
I think he has a long leash. Do you think he has a long leash, or do you think it's a short leash?
It could be. I mean, I could see.
He's got a good. I think if he takes a QB at 3, I think he's got a long leash. He's
got a year. I don't think if they're bad this year, they won't be firing him midseason. Not at all. They spent too much time grooming him to be the head coach.
I think he's got at least 2 years. I think
if he takes a quarterback, I think it's going to be like. I think he's going to be there longer than 5 years. If he doesn't, I give him a 2-year leash. I don't think he's going to be there after 2 years.
Yeah, just.
That's fair.
Next step for New England, though. Need an offensive coordinator. Bill O'Brien's not good. Need a young, refreshing offensive coordinator who's very creative, and you get the quarterback. Because
Matt Canada's there.
Matt Canada's on the board. All right, let's do wild card predictions. Like I said pre-show, dude, last year I was good. This year it's a little hard. Speaking of hard, pause. There's the first game on Saturday. It's the hardest game to predict for me. I think this is a go either way game out of any other matchup so far in the wild card. It's Browns versus Texans. Browns go in to CJ Stroud coming off a must win and get in game against my Colts, whatever. Unbiased segment for me. I'm not just picking against the Texans because of what happened over the weekend, but I'm taking the Browns this one. I want to get your guys' thoughts. This game is really hard, though. One day I wake up, I'm saying, I'm going to take C.J. Stroud because better quarterback usually wins the playoff games. C.J. Stroud's just already a top 10 quarterback, and this is Joe Flacco, who turns the ball over a lot. Stroud's had a great touchdown interception ratio. But then I'm like, this Texans offense isn't really that good, despite Stroud, especially without Tank Dell, and despite Stroud having a great touchdown interception ratio. This offense doesn't really move me. Singletary doesn't really move me. Only having Nico Collins in that offensive line doesn't move me. And when you have to go against that Browns defense that is the number one in yards allowed, top 5, 6 in points per game, and you're not like an elite offense. And I know Stroud, no offense to Stroud, the numbers don't look that good under pressure. And when you're playing quarterback against the Browns, as soon as you take the snap, you're under pressure because there's a guy, number 95, lined up on the edge who's going to be immediately in the backfield. And it's about to win Defensive Player of the Year. Sorry, Kieran, it's not TJ Watt.
Thanks.
It's not Kieran, I'm sorry.
What is your guys' takes on the Browns-Texans games to start off? Who's winning that one?
You go. You take
Browns
this one,
are the
Kieran.
2.5-point favorite, I believe, in Houston.
I was originally going to pick the Texans, but I'm going to be honest. Usually when like teams go on the hot hands, I usually take the hot hand. Joe Flacco's played good. I'm going to take the Browns because one, as you said, the Browns defense is awesome, and that Texans O-line isn't that good. I think CJ Stroud's going to struggle in his first playoff game. Give me the Browns. I'm gonna predict the score. I'm gonna say 20-13. I'd take the under in that game personally.
I think no coordinator this season has been more successful than Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz overtook that defense, which was insanely bad last year, despite it being extremely talented on the front seven, extremely talented in the linebacking core, and that talented secondary, that young talented secondary. Jim Schwartz overtook that defense, and it's the best defense in football. And if not, it's number 2. But in my opinion, it's the best. I think Jim Schwartz has arguably earned himself a head coaching job after this season. I think he's done that great of a job. The Browns defense is that good. They have the Defensive Player of the Year. That secondary has been absolutely amazing. Greg Newsome, Martin Emerson, Denzel Ward. Grant Delpit's been able to stay somewhat healthy this year, which is good. Obviously, the injuries on the Browns is the main concern here because no team in the league has been more injured this year than the Browns, and they're still winning games, which I find insane. I'm going to pick the Browns just for the sole fact that I agree with Kieran. I think they're the hot hand right now. I think Joe Flacco, despite the turnovers, has been playing very well. I think he's been efficient. I think he's been smart to a certain degree. I still think he's got the arm. Amari Cooper's coming back, which is going to be massive. The last time he played against the Texans, he had about 270 yards and a million touchdowns. Yeah, so he did pretty good. Derek Stingley did not look good that game. He's been great all year, but not that game. But I like the Browns here, man. The Joker's been having a good year. They're running the ball good enough, mainly in the red zone. They've been relying on Flacco's arm to push the ball down the field. And then moment they get in the red zone, that's when the run game starts to kick in. The offensive line has actually been better than I thought, despite the injuries to Conklin and Wills. I think they've been that good. I think this is also the Browns' 1 year to really do it, because next year they might be screwed, because that is when Deshaun Watson's cap really starts to kick in. And for the next 3 years in a row, his cap hit every single year will be $64 million, which is bad, especially for a guy who wasn't particularly good when he came back. Like, to put it into perspective, and I know I'm bringing up Arizona. I'm an Arizona fan, whatever. Kyler Murray looked better than Deshaun Watson in his first game off an ACL tear without Hollywood against a very good defense in Atlanta. That should tell you how bad Deshaun Watson has been recently. Deshaun Watson has been, I would argue, the most disappointing and worst contract in all professional sports history. That is how bad that contract is, because you can't get out of it. It's fully guaranteed. You cannot get out of that contract unless he agrees to restructure. Why would he? He wants his money. Why would he restructure? So that's on you. That's on you, Cleveland. So I think this is the year they have to do it. This is the year they have to win, because if they don't win this year, they're not winning anymore. So I'm going to pick the Browns to win this one. Yeah, you said something about like someone saying like the Texans are this year's Bengals.
No,
I don't see it at all. They don't have the receiving core. They don't have the run game. Stroud isn't playing as good as Burrow was playing. The defense is not even close to what the Bengals was playing like. Give me the Browns, man.
I think as good as Houston has in a quarterback who I think is already top 10.
Yes.
They put up their offense. How many spectacular offensive games have the Texans had this year? Not many.
Not as many as people think.
To be honest with you, my Colts, one of the worst defenses in the league. They didn't have a spectacular offensive day against the Colts, minus like 2 big plays to Nico Collins. They didn't put up that many points. They struggled sometimes to protect C.J. Stroud against my Colts defense. That's not really that good. But to wrap up this game, Browns Texans, I think the playoffs is all about. Really, it comes down to quarterback performance. How good if your quarterback's outplaying the other quarterback, that's the biggest indicator that you're going to win a game. So when it comes to picking the playoffs, you should just pick which quarterback's going to be better against the opposing defense. And I'm just going to take Joe Flacco because I don't like Stroud going against this defense. I don't think this offense is that good. It's just not their year. It's fine for the Texans. They're just a year ahead of schedule. They're a year ahead of schedule. The roster isn't quite there yet offensively. Stroud's good, but not really the supporting cast. And they're going to go up against this Browns defense that is Myles Garrett's going to be in the backfield as soon as you take a snap. And offensively for the Browns, Flacco's playing with house money. He's been there before. He's not going to fall to the pressure, and he's going to sling the ball down the field against a defense that he already knows how to throw against you, and they're going to win the game. So I'll give you the Browns.
So my thing about Houston is that I'm looking at like their games, right? I'm like noticing that like this is even before Tank Dell, their offense has progressively gotten worse and worse over the season. And this is like with Tank Dell as well. So I'm a little worried.
Bucks game, they're insane. They Stroud had like 5-6 touchdowns, but
yeah. I'm just saying, like, they had a couple 30-point games earlier in the season. It's just gotten progressively worse.
Okay. We're all picked the Browns. Let's move on to Dolphins-Chiefs. Now, I'm picking Kansas City. Not because I don't like Tua or anything. This is not anti-Tua. This is just me seeing warm weather Miami team, flashy, warm weather, explosive Miami team, going all the way up north, well, not far north, but up north in the country to a negative 30-degree wind chill Kansas City. And they're not going to be as explosive, and they're going to lose. And it's not really just the offense. It's defensively. Their entire linebacker edge rusher core's out. They're not playing. And although I have issues with Kansas City's tackles, their receivers, Kansas City's been there, done that, used to this weather like it's sunny California. They're used to it. They're going to play. They're going to feel comfortable. Miami's just going to be uncomfortable in this game for 60 minutes. And that's going to be their downfall. Simply the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are that much better than Dolphins if they were to line up neutral. They played neutral. Chiefs won, but not that much. But this is just a game. It's going to be like low scoring. Chiefs just been there, comfortable, could win this game.
Yep. I'll take this one, Kieran. I am anti-Tua. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. And I think the Bills game really showed that. Because despite Josh Allen turning over the ball a few times and, making some of those classic Josh Allen boneheaded, what in the heck are you doing plays, Josh Allen showed me in that game that he was the best player on the field from start to finish. He went out there and just bullied Tua, bullied that defense for 60 minutes, and outside of those 2 boneheaded plays, played basically out of his mind. Like, despite the turnovers, he went out there and lit you up. And he showed me the Dolphins could have a great team and they could do all this. As long as 17 is in Buffalo, I'm not picking against him to win that division because he is so unbelievably gifted. He's one of the most physically gifted quarterbacks we've ever seen in NFL history. And it's truly awesome to see. Now, back to this game. Despite Casey's tackles, not playing that well this year, no Bradley Chubb, no Jalen Phillips, That's going to be a big concern. You already said it, no linebackers. The defense is a shell because of all the injuries it's been having. The Chiefs are decently healthy. Andy Reid, I'm not expecting him to have some type of creative passing game. I mean, against the Dolphins, it's going to be extremely windy. It's going to be extremely cold, extremely snowy. I expect them to pound the ball with Isaiah Pacheco, run a lot of inside zone. That's what they should do. I'm hoping that's what they do because it's worked all year. They just don't do it that much for some stupid reason. Andy Reid, come on, man, run the ball. It's frustrating to watch the Chiefs offense, but I'm going to take them here. It's like you said, dude. They've been here. This is no different. Mahomes is arguably one of the greatest playoff performers of all time. There's no reason at all why he should lose this game. The Dolphins are going to be going from warm Miami to one of the coldest games, if not the coldest game in NFL history, according to what the weather is saying. So, Miami, have fun being a first-round exit again. I don't know what you do with Tua in the offseason, but you can figure that out, and I'll sit back and watch. Give me the Chiefs to win and cover.
They haven't beaten anybody good on the road all season, and now they have their toughest road assignment, which is negative 30-degree wind chill against the defending
in Kansas City.
Been there, done that. I mean, this is the place that's hosted the last 5 AFC championships. Okay.
Have fun, Miami. Have fun.
This will be a Pacheco game, though. I think this is a grinding out 20-plus.
Bet Pacheco over his rushing yards. If you are a betting man, bet Pacheco over his rushing yards.
I think Pacheco. This could be arguably Isaiah Pacheco's best game of his career. I'm not saying he will, but there could be a chance that he's rushing for like 200 yards this game. I'm not because of how windy it's going to be, how cold it's going to be. I think both teams are going to rely on the run game. The reason I'm picking Kansas City is because Miami's defense is way too depleted, and not to mention Miami's offensive line is so injured. It is so injured. Yeah. They're missing their center, who's been awesome this year.
Connor Williams,
and like Teron Armstead's like playing injured. I think Chris Jones is going to have like 2 sacks on Tua, and Tua over the last 3 games has just not been that good either way. Baltimore, he was shit. Dallas, he was fine, but not good enough, and they won that game. And Buffalo, Buffalo. I know Tyreek wasn't good either, but like Tua was terrible. I think the Chiefs are going to win like 17-9.
This feels like a low scoring, like Chiefs 20.
Dude, I don't even know if there's going to be. I don't even know if there's going to be
20 to 13, 20 to 10.
No.
It feels so low scoring.
I think there's not going to be any extra points made.
No touchdowns. You know what feels like another low scoring game that Vegas feels like it's not? Is Steelers-Bills. And that's the next game. We're going to go to the Sunday slate. Bills, I'm obviously going to take the Bills. I think they're a Super Bowl team, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Bills could do Super Bowl. But I think this game's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
And they're still going to win. Don't get me wrong. The Bills are going to win this game. But against Pittsburgh, I think this is going to be low scoring. Now, TJ Watt helps not being there. That definitely helps. But I see some Josh Allen, couple turnovers where it kind of gets low scoring and it's not a blowout. They still win. They probably win by a touchdown. But I don't see like an offensive masterclass from the Bills in this game. Steelers, Mike Tomlin do a pretty decent job. Without TJ Watt, hurts. But I'm taking the Bills, but not in a blowout fashion that I think a lot of people will. Rudolph still is not, whatever. He's doing a decent job, but
yeah. Kieran, this is your game. This is your game. Go ahead and take it, man.
I think the one way that we can like be in this game, I'm not saying we're gonna win, is that if you look at our run game over the last 3 weeks, ever since Rudolph's been there, it's been great. Najee Harris has played really good. Jalen Warren's played good. George Pickens, I mean, I know he had 0 catches against the Ravens. Last 2 games, over 100 yards. Stop sleeping. Anyway, am I going to pick us to win? No, because Buffalo is objectively the better team. I'm gonna say the Bills win like 17-7. I think that's fair.
Like I think the Bills score in the 20s. I'd say probably like what 21-10, something like that.
Like
if they're
my one thing I'll say is that I'll be happy if it's just not a blowout. I'll just say that.
If there is ever a time for Josh Allen to have one of those boneheaded Josh Allen games, I think this is the game to do it, and you can still win. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to be in windy, and I mean windy. That's going to be the summary of this year's playoffs, man, is Kansas City and Buffalo, they're going to be torched with snow and just windy, cold. Everyone's going to be just miserable. Like, that's what it's going to be for those two games. And I think with that, the Steelers do have an advantage because you could argue the Steelers have been the better rushing attack recently. However, no TJ Watt. That's the scary part for me. Arguably a top 5, top 3 edge rusher in the league. He's been that good. I think Buffalo, just at the end of the day, they're just a better team, man. Like, despite the weather, despite the disadvantage that they're not going to be able to, attack the ball or attack the defense through the air, they're just going to show up. They're going to be the better team. I'm praying Buffalo wins this game because I really want to see Buffalo win the Super Bowl. I'm not even a Bills fan, but I know it's funny because I'm wearing a Bills sweatshirt, but no, I'm not even a Bills fan, but I really want the Bills to win the Super Bowl because I would love to see Josh Allen hold that Lombardi. But once again, if there is a game Josh Allen can have that shitty game, I think this is the one. I think both teams are going to rely on the run game. I think Allen's going to be using the ball a lot with his legs. I think the Bills' offensive line has also been very good this year, and no one's really been talking about it. I think their tackles have actually been much better than usual. Jawan Dawkins has been good. Spencer Brown took a nice step. He's the right tackle from UNI. The interior has been okay. Osiris Torrance hasn't been great, but he is a rookie, so it's passable. Hopefully he can take a step in the future.
He's a rookie?
He is a rookie. Yeah, he was drafted in the second round. I still like this Bills team. I like them all year. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. Give me the Bills. Steelers cover.
Kieran, if Steelers lose, is Tomlin gone?
I think he's gone regardless. There's a lot of reports saying that he might take a job like Sean Payton way, which I'm fine with. I've said this before. People are getting mad at me that I'm like, what? Why are you happy in the playoffs? Like, you wanted Tomlin fired. I was like, dude, I'm obviously gonna root for my team even if they're in the playoffs. But like I've said this before, like I just think going like 9-8 or 10-7 every year and not having like any draft capital is just like hurting our future. So like I respected Tomlin. He got us the Super Bowl, but I just think things have gone stale,
I said it last year, bro. You guys are so in need of like a 4-13 season. So in need. Then you get a quarterback, and then you can change it because you have a talented enough roster. But like, if you're picking 20 every year, you're getting the third, fourth best receiver, second, third best tackle, not getting a top quarterback.
No, but when you see this roster, there's a lot of young guys who are pretty athletic. If you look at the linebackers and D-line, there's a lot of guys. Larry Ogunjobi, I don't know how the hell he's good on Pittsburgh, but he is. Cameron Hayward is obviously always going to be good. TJ Watt, Hall of Famer. I know he's not better than Myles Garrett, but whatever. Alex Highsmith is good. Nick Herbig. I will say this. If you watch the preseason game, I know it's preseason, but when we were playing when the Bills were playing their starters, Nick Herbig was destroying Deion Dawkins, absolutely destroying him. So we need a big game for him to have a chance in this game. So, yeah.
The All-Pro. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the first team or the second team? Because the first team got released.
Both of them got announced. I have it right here if you want me to list them off. I have them both.
I saw the first team. What's the first team got released a couple days ago. What about the second team?
Here's the second team. So AP first team. Okay, so here we go. So here's the second team. So Dak's quarterback, Kyron Williams is the running back. Fullback Patrick Ricard. Tight end is Sam Laporta. So Kelce didn't make it, which I think is interesting. I thought he would have. AJ Brown.
I thought Kelce made All-Pro. Was I looking at something else?
No, he did not. It was Kittle and it was Laporta.
Then AJ Brown. Then?
The wide receivers are AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, Brandon Ayuk, and Mike Evans. Mike Evans and Ayuk tied, so they both share it. The tackles are Tyron Smith at left tackle, and right tackle is Wayne Johnson. The guards are Tyler Smith, Chris Lindstrom, and the center is Frank Ragnar. The edge rushers are Micah Parson and Max Crosby. The interior is Justin Matabuke, Dexter Lawrence. Linebackers, Demario Davis, Bobby Wagner, Patrick Queen. Cornerbacks are Jalen Johnson, Traverius Ward. Slot cornerback is Tyron Johnson because, they added in slot corner, which it's about time. And then the safeties are Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know how Justin Simmons made it over Javon Holland, but he did. Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
I was reading the NFLPA's All-Pro that got released a couple days ago. That was not.
Oh no, this is the AP.
This is the AP's All-Pro.
His first team. I'll go off first team real quick. First team: Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Christian McCaffrey running back, Kyle Juszczyk fullback. Tight end is George Kittle. The wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Left tackle is Trent Williams, which I don't agree with, but whatever. Joe Tooney, left guard. Jason Kelce, center. Zach Martin, right guard, which I don't agree with at all, but okay. Penei Sewell at right tackle. Edge rushers are Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. Interior defensive lineman is Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. Linebackers are Fred Warner, Roquan.
Okay.
I don't even know. Yeah. Defensive tackles are Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. Linebackers are Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, and Quincy Williams. I'm glad he was able to make first team. Cornerbacks are Deron Bland, Sauce Gardner, and the slot corner is Trent McDuffie. And then the safeties are Kyle Hamilton and Antoine Winfield. You know what? Overall, I think I'll take that. I don't agree with Zach Martin and I don't agree with Chris Jones, but besides that, I think that was pretty spot on.
Dude, shout out to Dak, bro. Shout out to Dak to be getting an All-Pro on his career. He's already better than Tony Romo.
Prescott officially has more All-Pros than Big Ben.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, I will say this though. I know Dak hasn't played great against like good teams. But if we're just talking about like overall who's played the best this year, not MVP, I think it's been Dak.
Dak's been good, dude. I will say
38 touchdowns, 9 interceptions,
bad for Josh Allen.
106 passer rating. I mean, like, dude, I know, like, I truly believe if he played like okay against Buffalo and they just lost, he would be MVP. But he's not.
I think he was on track. I will say though, Kieran,
he'll get MVP votes.
Mike Evans,
I know he'll get MVP
All-Pro
votes.
in his name, Kieran. Mike Evans has another All-Pro.
Hey, congratulations,
dude! That TikTok and IG reel, dude. I get so many comments on that every single day from people, and it's been out for months. Like, this is the worst take I've ever heard. Everyone just likes Mike Evans. It's fine.
No, like you have to understand.
Mike Evans has never been a top 5 receiver in the league. That's the thing.
No, you have to all right, like if you want to make this a clip, I never said that Mike Evans wasn't a good receiver. He's obviously a good receiver, but don't tell me that he's a Hall of Famer when he has 2 All-Pros now and they're not even first team. He has 5 Pro Bowls, I guess, because like a lot of people like Pro Bowls for a reason for the Hall of Fame. But like the truth of the matter is he's never been a top 5 receiver. I personally have been very strict about the Hall of Fame for so long. I think it should be the best of the best guys. If I was going off this era, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and like other guys would only be in the Hall.
Hopkins, yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, like all those guys. I don't think guys who've just been good for a long time should be in it.
Dude, I always say now by these Hall of Fame standards, he's probably going to get in. He's probably going to be a second, third year.
He'll get in.
But my Hall of Fame, I always say in my Hall of Fame, I know I don't run the Hall of Fame, so who are you to say who should be Hall of Famer? I don't run the Hall of Fame, I don't have a vote. But I always say, dude, if I watch you and I don't say that's a Hall of Famer, you're not a Hall of Famer, dude. Like if I don't like watch you, when I just watch Tyreek, Tay Adams, when you actually like gets the ball, I say that dude is a Hall of Famer. Like that's like a top. That dude has the argument to be one of the best receivers in the league. And outside like a couple games in Mike Evans' career, I never ever said that about him. Never.
Yeah. I will say this. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit, but I don't really care. I think Stephon Diggs is a better argument than Mike Evans. That's just me.
Well, I'd probably agree with that. Yeah,
Probably. He had a better
he
peak.
peaked significantly higher.
You have to understand that Stephon Diggs was the second best receiver in 2020, and ever since he's been in Buffalo, he's arguably been a top 5 receiver in the league.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But the 1,000 yards. Okay. We got to move on. Let's do Packers Cowboys. Let's move on. Let's get through this fast. Let's do Packers Cowboys. So Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, win and get in. They got in. They going into Jerry World to play Dak Prescott. Now second team All-Pro Dak Prescott. I think the line said the Cowboys were a touchdown favorite. Oh, it moved to 7, just straight 7, not 7.5. It's moving. So the money's going to some Packers, but I'm taking Dallas. Again, just like the Texans, this is just Packers being a year ahead of schedule, to be honest. Well, I don't think they're a year ahead of schedule like the Texans because they were in this position last year with Aaron Rodgers. But at least for Jordan Love, he's just playing out of his mind, and I don't think we all saw them being this good. But I kind of see Kieran, Donnie, a talent mismatch. Dallas has all the better players. Dallas hasn't lost at home since Tampa Bay week 1 last year. They haven't lost at home since. They're dominant at home. They beat good teams at home, Philly, Detroit at home. And I know the Packers kind of own the Cowboys recently. This is a new guy. This is Jordan Love. This is an Aaron Rodgers. Defensively, they play better at home, and offensively, particularly with Dak against Joe Barry's defense, will look like a second-team All-Pro on Sunday. And it's not that Jordan Love will play bad. It's not. I think Jordan Love would have a fine game. It's just Dallas is just better at more positions, and especially when you take into account that defense of Green Bay.
My thing about the Packers is that a lot of people are picking the Packers to win this game. I'm not. The Cowboys, like, if they just weren't the Dallas Cowboys, I think everyone would have them as like a top 3 team going into the postseason because they've been playing like it all year. Dak, I said before, like, you take in totality of a season, like if you just go Bayos stats, I think he played like the best quarterback this year. My one issue is that Dak in the playoffs is not that great. He's not bad. He's had a few good games. I think the game played the last time they played the Packers in the playoffs, he actually played good. So
that was his rookie year, right?
That was his rookie year. The one thing that Green Bay has to do is that if they make Dak if they are forced to run the ball like Dallas, because their run game is not good. I think Green Bay is going to have a shot. But in reality, I don't see that O-line holding up against Micah Parsons. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I would take the over in that game. I'm going to say Dallas wins 34-20.
I'm feeling like a 35-27, 35-24 type game. Very high. Dallas pulls away late. Keys for Green Bay, kind of like you were saying. I've been seeing it all year. The blueprint against Dallas is really there. You just need to take away CeeDee Lamb and what is his offense. Just take him away because he's the majority of their offense. Cooks is nice, but he does like 1 or 2 catches a game, and he's not a guy you can depend on being that bailout receiver if CeeDee Lamb's locked up. Gallup's trash. And let's be honest about Tony Pollard. Kind of been keening on this for over a year now since Zeke left. He isn't a workhorse back. He isn't a guy that you're relying on to carry you to a victory. And they haven't been able to run the ball consistently all year. He's had a few nice games, but if you just take away CeeDee Lamb, this offense really struggles. Could Green Bay do that? No, but they should try to do that, and they should try to get a lead too, because Dallas's defense, when trailing, is not as good. But I think at home, Dallas is just overpowered at home. And being the 2 seed is really important for them. And I think the fact that they are the 2 seed, it's just going to help them. They don't lose at home, and they're just going to win this game. Donnie, if you have anything to say about the Packers, because I think we all have Dallas winning this one.
Yeah, I think Dallas is going to win this game pretty comfortably. I mean, I don't know. I heard Jair might not play. That's rough. I think CeeDee Lamb, outside of Tyreek Hill, has been the most unguardable receiver in the league this year. I mean, literally, the entirety of Dallas's offense has just been Dak and CeeDee just making magic happen. That's what it's been from week 1 all the way to the postseason. And it's going to continue to be like that. I just think Dallas is also just the better team. They're the better coach team. What Dak did to the Commanders last week was absolutely horrific to see, outside of one tipped interception, which was absolutely stupid. But outside of that, he was basically perfect.
Yes.
Expect something similar to that to Joe Barry's defense. Give me Dallas. Dallas might put up 40.
And if you're a Green Bay fan,
their defense has been so
if
bad.
you're a Green Bay fan, who cares? You lose, fine. Jordan Love gets
It doesn't
playoff
matter,
experience as a starter.
Yeah.
Very important. Just like Texans, you lose, who cares? CJ Stroud gets playoff. You're not supposed to really be there. Who cares? You'll take it. And if
Yeah.
you somehow do win, which you won't, but who cares? The next game is Lions versus the Rams. Matt Stafford finally gets to play a playoff game in Detroit. And I don't know how many of you guys are actually going to pick the Lions, but America's upset of the week is not Houston. It's not any other team. It's not Miami. It's the Rams beating the Lions. I don't know how Vegas hasn't caught on to this. The Lions actually moved up. It was like 2.5. Now it's 3. People are putting money on Detroit.
Vegas knows
a lot
something,
of people
man.
picking the Rams, and I'm going to pick the Rams too. I'm kind of concerned how the Lions are moving up in favor of Detroit because I feel like this is America's upset of the week. And when I think about Detroit, when I think about the Rams, better coach quarterback combination is just simple as that. Better defense, healthier weapons if Laporta's not playing, Super Bowl winning experience, and home field advantage for the Lions is not an advantage because that's Matthew Stafford. He's been there. I think this is everyone's upset of the week. Lions moving kind of scares me, but what do you guys think? Taking Rams?
Yeah.
I'll start with this real quick, Kieran. What I'll say is this real quick. I think the Rams have to win this game. If you do not want to see the 49ers in the playoffs, you want the Rams to win this game. Because I think the Rams are the only team in the NFC that can actually beat the Niners in their own game on the road. I think they're the only team to do it. I think Stafford has been great ever since he came back, especially in the second half. Cooper Kupp's been doing his thing. Puka Nacua just made second-team All-Pro. I think the run game with Kyron Williams has been amazing. Well. The offensive line has been outperforming all expectations because I said that outside of the Titans, they had the worst offensive line in the league. Is the O-line good? No. Is it bad? No, it's not. It's like average, and that is good enough for the NFL. The Lions' defense, in particular their secondary, has been absolutely atrocious, man. I mean, Cam Sutton, I love that free agent signing. Good Lord, has that been such a bad signing so far? It's been so unfortunate. Such great years on the Steelers, gets the money, and he was not good this year on the Lions. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's been injured. He's been up and down. Brian Branch has been arguably the best secondary player as a rookie. He's been great in the slot this year.
Safety.
He's like a safety slot hybrid. That's not enough. You need outside boundary guys, and the Lions don't have that. And now you're going up against Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Maybe you can, slot boy, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to be able to cover those guys, man. And the running game for the Rams has been cooking this year. And I think at this moment, the Rams defense has arguably been better than the Lions over the last few weeks. I think the Lions probably have more talent, and I think they're probably the better coach defense. But at the end of the day, the offense for the Rams and the Lions, they're both amazing. Sam Laporta might not even play. He's been injured. Shout out Dan Campbell for that, man. I'm sorry, but I screamed at Dan Campbell when that happened. I said, you are an absolute moron. Because Dan Campbell let his mentality and his ego get in the way, and now you potentially have lost your second-best offensive skill position player who just made second-team All-Pro this year, who had maybe the greatest rookie tight end season of all time, Sam Laporta. Good job, Dan Campbell. You're an idiot for that. You're going to have Amon-Ra, and you'll have J-Mo, you'll have Josh Reynolds, but is that enough to keep up with Puka, Stafford, Kupp, Kyron? No, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm taking the Rams here. And honestly, if the Rams play the Niners next week, I'm just saying, they're the only team to do it, man.
Two things before you go, Kieran. Two things before you go. One, this is why I haven't done a full playoff prediction, because the biggest reason why I haven't done a full playoff prediction is because I am actually so tempted to take the Rams over the 49ers. But I don't want to publicly say that because I feel like it's just going to destroy my whole bracket. I'm so tempted to take the Rams over the 49ers. It's not because what we saw in the Carson Wentz Darnold game. No.
I don't care about that.
Team offensively, McVay versus Shanahan is a perfect matchup. And then Kieran, before you get into the Rams Lions game, I will say I think I saw a TikTok of yours of your current quarterback rankings. I saw that you had Matthew Stafford above Jalen Hurts. It's almost as if someone said a long time ago that Matthew Stafford is better than Jalen Hurts. The world has – I hate myself. I didn't post that TikTok because I couldn't edit anything and I was busy. But the world is finally awakening. Matthew Stafford's better than Jalen Hurts. I would have got so much heat about that when I first initially said it, but I think now a lot of people now are jumping on the train.
Listen, Jalen Hurts sucked this year, so I don't care what people say. He sucked this year. So yeah, Stafford is better than him. Now, for me, I'm nervous about this game because the Rams are 7-1 since week 11. They're 7-1. The only team they lost to was the Ravens, and they probably should have beat
that game. So close. They were so close.
They honestly should have beaten the Ravens. But the one thing I'm worried about is that a lot of people are picking the Rams, and that makes me nervous that people are just underrating the Lions a little bit. Their run game is really good. I think the edge that the Lions have over the Rams is the O-line. I think the O-line is much better than the Rams O-line. I think Aiden Hutchinson's going to get a lot more pressure than Aaron Donald. I'm not saying that Aaron Donald isn't better than Aiden Hutchinson. He is better than Aiden Hutchinson, but like the totality of the Lions O-line is just much better, especially the interior. And their tackles are good too, but like all in all, I'm gonna pick the Rams. As I said before, I'm gonna go with a hot hand. They're 7-1 since week 11. The only team they lost to was the Ravens, and they put 31 on the best defense in the league. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
36. Well, we put 36 on the Browns and 31 on the Ravens.
I'm going to say 30. You know what? I'm going to say 38-35 Rams.
I think this is going to be one of them. It's Sunday Night Football. I'm excited for this one. I will say, though, this is going to be a Matthew Stafford. If any, I feel like the homecoming games are just so overrated. I don't really see a lot of – I feel like I don't see a lot of spectacular master classes when someone returns. I never really see that, especially in the NBA. But the Lions have a bottom 6 passing defense. Yeah. This is just – and they're healthy. Kupp and Nakua, McVay play calling. I think this is a coaching mismatch. I think this is going to be the game where I don't think Goff will be terrible, but this is going to be one of those games where I see some people trying to compare the stats since the trade say that it's been an even trade, but one won a Super Bowl and that same guy is better, and that's Matthew Stafford.
Bro,
this is going to be another game that shows why that the Rams won the trade and why they have the better quarterback. It's coaching mismatch, mismatch.
No. You know why it will never be a win trade? The Lions just got good this year. They just got good this year, and they're still not even that great.
And it helps too that some of their picks that they got from that trade turned into like Jahmyr Gibbs and stuff like that. But
still a bad. I don't care what people say. It's still a bad pick.
They won the Super Bowl anyways.
Real quick,
taking the Rams again.
I do agree. Massive coaching mishap. I agree. And I just want to say this. Aaron Glenn getting all these head coaching opportunities, I think that is going to get shut down real quick. I have never liked Aaron Glenn. He can be a culture guy. He's been the defensive play caller for the Lions, so clearly that's what he wants to do. He has done a terrible job. And now you're going up against a future Hall of Fame Wonder Boy coach, Sean McVay, who has done nothing but succeed ever since he got into the league. My friend, are going to get spanked.
Donnie, you scared me a little bit.
Monday Night Football.
What's up?
Yeah, you scared me a little bit. I thought you were going to say Hall of Fame quarterback, but
I thought you were actually going to say Hall of Fame. If he wins
Hall of Fame coach. Hall of Fame coach.
Okay.
Come on. He'll get there.
I love Stafford, but let's be honest, he's not Hall of Fame.
No, Stafford's not a Hall of Famer, but McVay will be. McVay's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I've always.
When we look back at the 2020s, we are going to say McVay was one of the best coaches of the 2020s, and he was also one of the better. He might be one of the better coaches of the 2030s.
It's going to be him and Andy.
That's what we're going to say.
Maybe the 2040s, dude. That dude is so young. People don't.
Yeah, he's only like 30. He's like 38. Yeah, he's young.
He's a month older than Jerod Mayo. Let's go to Monday Night Football to close out the wild card predictions. Listen, Eagles 1-5 in last game. I've seen this Eagles downfall since week 3 when I came on this pod and said, I don't care that they're 3-0. This is the most concerning 3-0 team that I've ever seen. Something's off. And I kept preaching that something's off about this team since day one. And I was right. I was right. This team has won. It finally caught up to them. Because they beat the Bills and the Chiefs, and then all of a sudden, oh, this is 10-1 Super Bowl team, and they got smacked. The Eagles. I don't know who's going to be healthy in this game. AJ Brown had a little injury. I'm not really tapped into the.
I thought he
tore the whole thing. Jalen Hurts with the finger. It's going to be rough, but I'm not going to lie to you. Are people really going to overthink this game and take the Bucs? Are people going to overthink this game and take the Bucs?
I'm taking the Bucs.
Are people going to overthink this game and take the Bucs? Because as much as I don't like the Eagles, and I don't think they're a contender, I think they're at the lowest they can be, on the ropes. Line says Philly by 3. Now, the lines have been taken to Philly no matter what the game's been looking like, and they've still been losing. I just don't want to overthink this game, and I'm just going to take Philadelphia. And if I lose, I lose. But I'm going to take Philly to win this game. I don't like how the Bucs have been playing to close out the season. I mean, to win 3 field goal win against Carolina for the division. They haven't been good since the Jacksonville game. These last 2 games have been poor. Now Baker's limping around. I understand that Philadelphia hasn't played good at all, but I think this is a semi-bounce back game for Philly.
Oh my God!
And they just win in Baker's house.
AJ Brown, dude.
I'm not taking Baker Mayfield in a playoff game, especially if he's limping around. Sorry.
What happened?
AJ Brown just removed everything Eagles and unfollowed them on Instagram.
When was that?
In a playoff game, he removed everything Eagles.
That means
unfollowed them.
That means he's not playing.
Dude, AJ Brown's such a diva. Oh my God. When was that? To this morning?
Okay, chill.
I'm looking at his Instagram. 1K underscore always open. I see nothing Eagles related. He unfollowed the Eagles. Wow.
Dude, that's a diva, dude. Come on. You're not unfollowing the Eagles.
Are you kidding me, AJ? Dude, in a playoff game? Dude, you still have a chance to get to the bowl, dude. It's not like the season's over. What the hell are you doing? Oh, my
Yeah,
Lord.
he's acting like they still play. He's acting like they
He's acting like the season ended. The season's not over, dude.
Can you explain why you're putting your money on 3-point underdog Baker Mayfield?
It's because I know you're concerned because like the Bucs played the Saints and the Panthers, but divisional games go a little differently. Usually, sometimes they're low scoring games. Like I don't know, and like also like I don't think the Panthers defense has been terrible recently, and the Saints defense has been top 10 this year. So, and also, I think the Bucs have a chance in this game because one, it looks like the Bucs are going in the right direction and the Eagles are going in the wrong direction. Like the Eagles defense has been one of the worst in the league all year. The Bucs defense isn't great, but it's not bad. Plus, I think the Bucs are more healthy this time around. So give me Tampa by give me Tampa 27-20.
I don't think it will be a blowout. I think Philadelphia. I think the line's right. I think the Philly will win by like a field goal. But I'm just taking Philly. I think this is kind of like back against the wall, last chance. If they lose, then that's embarrassing, especially for Sirianni. I don't trust this team. But it's not like it's a huge coaching. But it's not like there's no coaching mismatch in this game. I'm not a big fan of Todd Bowles. I don't think he's going to out-scheme Nick Sirianni. And I don't think it's a huge coaching mismatch. Don't think there's no quarterback mismatch. Now, there's defensively, there's that secondary mismatch. I don't like the secondary for Philadelphia being
their linebacker horrible too.
That second level defense is bad from linebacker on, and they're not getting to the quarterback like they did last year. But I gotta take Philadelphia. Backs against the wall. One last. They just they're not going to look like last year's Philadelphia, but they'll put some points on the board and win this game by a field goal. They'll not blow them out. They haven't proven they can blow out a team all year, but I think they just win this game. I don't trust limping, injured Baker Mayfield playoffs. I'm going to put my money on it. Sorry.
One of the few teams that they've won by 2 touchdowns this year was Tampa Bay. That was in week 3. I think Tampa's offense has been way better since then. So we'll see.
And I also think Philadelphia looked way better earlier in the season too.
Oh yeah,
I forgot they played. That was a Monday Night Football like doubleheader.
Yeah,
and
It was It was forgettable. It was forgettable.
Yeah, it was for and Baker didn't look that good.
Baker did not.
Baker made Philly's defense look elite.
I will say this. I hate that. I hate picking Baker because every time, because like I used to be a Baker Mayfield truther, but it is true that when there is a cycle about him. When he's on the hot hand, he usually folds. So I'm kind of worried. But
hey, Kieran, you want to hear something funny? If the Bucs win this weekend, Baker Mayfield will have more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, he's a better playoff performer than Lamar.
You know, I got to get you guys on for next show. I'm not praying for this man's downfall. I am not at all. And that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. But the narratives on Lamar Jackson, people have been slobbering him all season, other than the few low-key racist, not quarterback-y type guys. We've been praising him to be the MVP. Everyone's in love with Lamar. Dude, if he loses,
he struggles in the
narratives
playoffs.
on Lamar Jackson
has
will be not just from AFC North fans, but around the league. We're going to go back to Lamar can't play in the playoffs, and he's not a top 5 quarterback. As soon as
also have him top 5. But
I have him 5
also
right now. I can't have a 2-time MVP not top 5. I got him right at 5.
I have him at 3 right now. But if he does have another bad playoff performance, I mean, we really need to look in the mirror and look at him and say, okay, something is wrong. Like, this will be – I mean, dude, he's the 1 seed again. The last time he was the 1 seed, people like to say it was the defense. It was not the defense. Lamar Jackson did not play good in that Titans game. You can tell me about how he put up 420 yards. Did he get the ball in the end zone? Did he score in the red zone? No, he did not. No, he didn't. You had the run game. He couldn't throw accurately. Nothing was working for him. He was bad in that game. And then he wasn't particularly that good against the Bills. And then he was decent against the Titans the second time, I guess. And then I'm not going to slander him for a rookie playoff game. That's unfair. Dude, it's so frustrating to see with Lamar. If it happens again with the number 1 seed, you are the best team in football with the best defense, a top 5 offensive line, and Mark Andrews is apparently coming off of IR. If you struggle again,
I don't want to. I will say that I don't want to hear excuses. I really don't. I'm tired of the excuses. Like, bro, they act like Lamar needs all these freaking weapons, dude. Like, yeah, if you give him prime Julio Jones and prime Antonio Brown, he's gonna put up numbers. Bro, dude, he doesn't need that. He doesn't. And I've heard a lot of people say
this will be his best set of weapons in the playoffs by far, though. He's gonna have Mark Andrews by the sound. He's gonna have Mark Andrews by the sound of it. He may be rusty, but he's going to make an impact right away. You're going to have Zay Flowers. OBJ is not terrible. He's okay.
Nice.
Isaiah Likely's been good recently. The offensive line's been good. The run game's been good. And the defense is top 2. You don't have an excuse. We need you to play well in the playoffs, dude, because you haven't up to this point.
Okay.
And, dude.
We'll revisit this conversation.
Yeah, we'll revisit. We'll revisit this. We'll revisit
Kieran,
this.
get your take off then.
Okay. Go ahead, Kieran.
Sorry.
No, I was saying, finish what you were saying before we move on.
Let's just say this. I'm just saying, if the Steelers beat the Bills, I'm picking the Steelers over the Ravens. I do not care. Until Lamar Jackson plays a good game against us, I am not picking him against us. I do not care.
I think it's inevitable that he plays an AFC North opponent. With the Bills winning,
it is. Yeah. He's either playing the Browns or he's playing the. Well, I don't think he plays the Steelers because I think the Bills are going to win, but he will play the Browns.
I don't want to crush your dreams, but
I'm just saying,
Mason Rudolph's not going to Buffalo and winning the game.
By the way, I do want to say this: if I'm the Ravens, I'm praying to God Houston wins because I would much rather play Houston than the Browns.
I also want to say this real quick because I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it probably on the following Monday. I don't know. I'll talk about it on the following Monday. But my God, dude, the fact that I'm sorry, who was the backup for the Chiefs that one game against the Browns, like Chad Henne or something?
No, that was Blaine Gabbert.
No, against it was a couple years ago when they beat the Browns in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that was Chad Henne. Yeah, that was Chad
if
Henne.
Chad Henne has a hot hand, if Nick Mullins has a hot hand, if
Joe Flacco,
Kyle Allen has a hot hand, if Jake Browning has a hot hand, dude, they're immediately going to the bench once their quarterback gets healthy. The fact that Kenny Pickett is not replacing Mason Rudolph, I don't care if Rudolph's winning big games. That's bad. Because if Browning has a hot hand, don't care. You're getting yanked for Joe Burrow. If Nick Mullins has a hot hand, I don't think O'Connell is benching Kirk Cousins for Nick Mullins in a playoff game.
Absolutely not.
I'm just saying, if this is your future, because he's going to be your quarterback probably next year, and I think they're going to stick with him next year, or at least be the bridge quarterback for a rookie sitting on the bench. That's not good look. Go to the draft with that in mind. Kenny Pickett, because he's healthy. Let's keep it a buck. He's healthy. I mean, I don't know his true injury status, but let's keep it a buck. He's healthy. If you're riding a Mason Rudolph hot hand, Kenny Pickett, what does that say about you? And if you're Pittsburgh going to the draft, I'd probably take a quarterback because if you are not,
I just don't think one's going to fall to them.
If you're not confident Kenny Pickett replacing Mason Rudolph in a playoff game, in games that your franchise needs to play, then what's the point of having Kenny Pickett?
Now, Mike Tomlin getting fired might help them with that.
I will say about Kenny Pickett, the game. I understand he hasn't been good in the NFL, but I will say this: the first game without Matt Canada, he probably played the best game that he had in his career against Cincinnati. And I know that defense isn't that good, but us getting 400 yards of offense is an accomplishment in itself, and he played pretty good that game. I'm not saying that Kenny Pickett is the future, but I want to give him one full season, just one full season without Matt Canada. And if he's bad,
that's what they're gonna do.
If he's bad after 4 games, we should bench him. But
I just don't like how, like I said, if Mullins is having a hot hand, Kirk Cousins is coming in no matter what. If the backup for the Lions, I don't even know his name. If he has a hot hand, Jared Goff's coming in.
Josh Dobbs was playing very well for Arizona, and they sent him out of there fast.
For Kyler.
They sent him gone.
You're not riding hot hands. The fact that you're not replacing him for Pickett speaks volumes to who Kenny Pickett is.
Can I
how much trust they have in him winning these games.
It's very hard to replace a guy who has a 75% completion percentage in 3 games, 719 yards. He's averaging 10 yards per attempt. He has 3 touchdowns.
Like I said, if Browning is having that type of game.
Yeah, I get it.
If Browning is, they're putting Burrow in immediately. They're throwing Burrow in immediately, yeah.
Well, to be fair, Burrow is a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I know. But I said if Nick Mullins is throwing for 300, 400 yards,
you're throwing in Kirk Cousins. Yeah, they're throwing Kirk Cousins.
It just it speaks volumes. But I want to talk about this. Get 2 more things, and then we're up out of here because it's been a little while on this. I want to talk about Travis Kelce. Now, Travis Kelce said yesterday in a press conference, amid all the rumors, the Taylor Swift relationship, the possible retirements, he said yesterday that he has no plans on retiring. Now, I've been chronically scrolling on TikTok these last couple of days. Really, really bad. Wake up, scroll on TikTok for 2 hours before I even get out of bed. It just so happens the same day I'm scrolling on TikTok, I see a Kieran clip. I think it was on Trent's podcast.
Yeah, shout out my boy
Kieran said that Travis Kelce is not a top 5 tight end.
Yep.
And I want you to stand on business with this take. I want you to confirm. I didn't watch the full podcast or whatever, so I don't have the full context of the conversation or your full take. But I want to understand how he's not a top 5 tight end. Because I agree. Has he lost a step? Yeah. Is he as dominant? No. But how can someone who's top 3 in receptions, 2nd in yards, 3rd in receiving touchdowns, tied for it, while missing 2 games, is not top 5 at their position?
Because my problem with Travis Kelce is that even though I understand that he's getting double teamed a lot, when I watch him play, he's way slower. He's having a drop issue now. As the season has progressed, I'm watching Travis Kelce. He has progressively gotten worse and worse. And I just don't know what it is. When I see a guy like Sam Laporta, who's way faster, has much better hands, and is just he He's just like way more explosive than Travis Kelce at this point. Like I think like Travis Kelce at this point cannot be the number one option on your team anymore as a receiver. I just can't.
I agree that he's not as explosive. I would take Laporta. I would take Kittle, but 5 tight ends. There's 3 other guys that you have to name.
5 tight ends is pushing.
And I know
I can see 4. I can't see more.
The thing with Kelce is like always lost a step. He's not as dominant. Well, Kelce was up here, and everyone else was down here. Losing a step doesn't mean he's all the way at the bottom. When you say Kelce's lost a step, him losing a step is getting just closer to everybody else. And he was still 3rd in receptions, tied for 3rd in receiving touchdowns, getting constantly double teamed, and still putting up those numbers, 2nd in yards. Missed 2 games.
Yeah. I think at the highest you can put him for me is 5. I can't go any higher than that. I think the 4 guys that I have, and there's like 2 guys I might take over him. I think the 4 guys that would definitely take over him is George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Sam Laporta, and TJ Hawkinson when he's healthy. The other guys I would throw in there is Donnie's gonna get so pissed. David Njoku and Trey McBride. I really like
McBride. Oh my God, it's nasty.
Dude, I love Trey McBride. I love Trey
nasty.
McBride, and he has been good this year. He's been really good this year, especially with up and down QB play. Because Josh Dobbs was up and down. Kyler didn't really start kicking it until like a few weeks ago. Trey McBride's not better than Kelce, man. Maybe he can be next year, but not right now.
But like, I don't know. Like my one issue with Kelce is that, like, I don't think he's that tackle breaker anymore. I just don't think he could be that explosive guy, that yak guy they used to be. His yak to me is fucking cooked. Like his yak is cooked. I think Trey McBride's a better yak player right now. Like that's how bad I think his yak is. And that might have to do with double teams and shit, but he looks way slower now. I'm sorry.
I still think
it's just if I was saying need team, pick a tight end. There's not 5 guys I'm picking.
Yeah.
Now maybe it's like, because you're some casual takes and you're not watching the film. No, bro, I'm being serious. There's not 5 guys, even if he lost a step. Well, 2nd in receiving yards as a tight end. It's a pretty good step to lose. That's a pretty good step to lose.
No, I'm not saying he isn't good. Like he's still good.
I'm not saying that. He only had 2 games over 100 receiving.
I think it's also part of like tight ends getting better too. Him losing a step and tight ends getting better.
That's fair. You
know, because
tight ends are getting better.
Because people don't even know about this. Evan Ingram led the league in receptions this year for a tight end. Like, he had over. I'm not saying that Ingram is better because I think Trevor just likes Ingram a lot. I don't think Ingram is as good as people say he is. He's still good, but a lot of people think he's in that top 5 range. But
no,
he's good.
11 yards per catch isn't bad for losing a step. I need to see the yak numbers, of course.
No, I'm just saying, just like ever since that Denver game where he had like 180 yards.
That was Chargers.
What game? Chargers.
He had 180
this year.
Yeah, Denver he had 124. I got the stats now.
Oh, okay. Ever since that game, he's been pretty bad.
I will say he has 1 catch. He has 1 touchdown since that the Chargers game, and he doesn't have a single game above 92 receiving yards.
And that might have to do with double teams, but personally for me, I think it's part of double teams and also him just being way slower now and cannot be that number 1 option anymore.
I will say, though, the targets are going down. The yards per catch hasn't gone down significantly. It's just the targets are down, to be honest.
Well, I think
he's not catching as many balls. It's like he's not as getting as many receptions.
I think
the targets have gone down, the usage in the offense.
I think part of it is Rashid Rice has this is corny. Rashid Rice has Rashid Rice has been nice. Okay.
That's almost as Purdy. That's almost as corny as saying Brock Purdy's pretty good. That's almost
Brock Purdy's shit, but
that's almost as corny. I don't know. I just don't think there's 5 tight ends I would take. I do see your point though. He's regressing. for sure. But I don't think he's regressed enough to say that there's 5 tight ends I would take on my team
Like,
right now. Travis Kelce. I think a lot has to do with the double teams too. Not getting as many targets. The passing game is not as good as it was in the beginning of the season. For the Chiefs.
I don't think like my thing about Kelce though, right, is that I don't know how much like I think it's gonna go worse. I think he's gonna get worse next season.
I do too. But I'm just saying, as currently standing, I can't take 5. Next season though, I can definitely see it. I just say right now.
Where would you have him personally?
I take Laporte and Kittle right now.
Andrews probably also.
Andrews been hurt though. He's missed like half the season.
Dude, who cares? Come on.
And I don't know I don't know how significantly better Andrews was when he was healthy. I'd probably take him like 30.
Hawkinson was really good this year before his injury.
Hawkinson's been good, but he has about the same stats as Hawkinson, to be honest. He's got better stats than Hawkinson in many areas.
I mean, yeah, but he also missed like 4 games, I think.
They missed the same games. They played like 15.
Something like that, yeah.
They play the same games. To be honest, he's fighting for that 3rd spot with Hawkinson and Andrews. Njoku's nice. I just wouldn't put Njoku there.
Stop
to
sleeping.
Be honest. A lot of Njoku, a lot of Njoku is wide open play action from Njoku.
Trey McBride is crazy, Kieran. That is insane.
McBride doesn't even belong in the conversation. Hey, he's next up.
I love McBride,
I want to talk
but
quickly basketball. And then if you guys have any other takes to get off that you want to say on this pod, want to get clipped up, you could say that at the end. But I want to talk quick basketball because I want to ask Kieran about this. So, LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers fan, Kieran. Well, not really a Lakers fan, just a where he at fan. And last night, thought the Lakers were back. Back-to-back wins, Clippers dub. All of a sudden, they host the Phoenix Suns, and they get destroyed. It was over by like halftime. 127-109. Bradley Beal had more points than AD and LeBron combined. Bradley Beal had a coming-out game for the Suns. So Lakers, this is the key one. 5-11 since winning the in-season tournament. I want to get your quick take on what exactly is wrong with the Lakers. I don't know how much basketball you've been watching in football season, but if you have, what exactly is wrong with the Lakers?
I think the problem is that you're relying too much on LeBron James to create like offense for you, like for them. I think another reason why you guys have been struggling is that when I look at this perimeter defense, it's some of the worst in the league. I think. I don't think anyone that when you watch the Lakers, you see the starting lineup, you're not scared of anyone on the perimeter. And when you don't have a lot of perimeter guys, they're going to shoot a shit ton of threes at you. And when you play a team like the Suns, who have a lot of great shooters on that team, look what happens. I don't know. I don't know where you go from here. The Lakers are in trouble because even though LeBron is still good, he's still good. Like he can't be the main option on your team for an offense anymore. That's how I view it. And like he's obviously the top 2 player ever, but people still somehow think he's top 5. He's not top 5.
No, God. Why would someone have LeBron top 5?
It's just name value at this point. Like I think when AD plays, he's been better. Like so. One is the perimeter defense. 2 is overusing LeBron James, and your shooting's not been that good either.
I 100% agree. To be honest, I don't know where they go. I've been seeing like trades. I don't even know like how many trades can save this team. The issue with the Lakers too is you're overly relying on AD and LeBron being Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah,
seriously. Like you're overly reliant on. Oh, Donnie left because he has dip. Shout out to Donnie, everyone. But yeah, you're overly reliant on LeBron and AD being Shaq and Kobe. Which game against like Phoenix in a one-off every like other Tuesday, you can do that. But for this team, especially when LeBron's 39, you kind of need that secondary scoring punch more consistently because you can't rely on LeBron, AD being Shaq and Kobe as they currently are. But I feel like they have it in some players. They're just not playing like it.
Yeah.
To me, Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell are on thin ice.
Oh, yeah.
Thin ice. For D'Lo, he's been on my bad side since the Western Conference Finals. I will never, ever forgive that man for, 7 points a game against the Nuggets? But sadly, I can't believe I'm saying this because I didn't think I was beginning of the season. The more disappointing Austin Reeves games that he has, the less untouchable he's going to be in February. These guys have to be better if the Lakers want to be good. And as much as people want to throw around trades and say the Lakers are cooked, they have the roster. I've seen this roster when playing inspired basketball and playing how they should play, beat and dominate a lot of the best teams in the league to win the in-season tournament. That matters. But it's up to Reeves and D'Lo to be the consistent secondary scorers behind LeBron and AD because you can't ask them to be Shaq and Kobe as they currently are in their careers on a night-in, night-out basis. LeBron and AD, they had a bad game last night. So what? They had a bad game. So what? I mean, they're due for a bad game once a month. LeBron's 39, and they've been so good so far this season.
The funny thing is about LeBron and AD, I don't think it mattered if they played good or not. Like, they were getting...
Actually, I think it would have made the game a lot closer, and we would have had a tighter game. They put up 8 to 9 points in the first quarter. Like, that's not good. I mean, first half.
LeBron had 10 points.
I know. He clocked out. I don't think he barely played in the second half.
LeBron James get 10 points in a game.
Huh?
I haven't seen LeBron James get 10 points in a game in so long.
I have. I've seen it for a while. He'll get 10 points into a clock game. Some blowouts, he'll get 10. To have that streak, he's had like 1,000 straight games. But like I was saying, LeBron, if AD and LeBron have a bad game, Reeves and D'Lo have to be there to chip in, and they weren't last night. Reeves, 13 points. D'Lo, 19 points. Don't look at the 19 points. That man was stat padding in garbage time.
Yeah.
For Austin Reeves, he's had a recent stretch, Kieran, of 13 points, 11 points, 8 points. That's not good. That is, when you're the third option on a championship-level team, especially when LeBron's not going to score 30 a game, that's not good. You need to be closer to that 20 point to me. And for D'Lo, oh my God, Kieran, 15 games. Did you know that D'Lo's had 15 games this season with 11 points or less?
That's so bad.
That is terrible for someone who's supposed to be the third or fourth option. Some nights he's the third, second option.
He was there to be the third option. When he got traded there, he was supposed to be the third. At this point,
if they're not scoring, Kieran.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the perimeter defense. If they're not scoring, they're just liabilities on the court.
Oh, yeah.
His opponents just start hunting them on isolation. And Reeves was getting cooked. D'Lo was getting cooked. Booker and Beal were having a field day, switching them off Prince and Vanderbilt. And they were going to work. Dude, Reeves was getting put on skates. It was just, I didn't like seeing that at all.
You know what's the most embarrassing thing about this game?
Yeah.
Is that the Suns' defense is terrible.
And they couldn't take advantage of it. They couldn't.
Take advantage of it, no.
Well, it's also because when you have Reddish and Vanderbilt and you're playing 3-on-5. And that doesn't help too. But they have a few weeks to prove to me that they can be championship supporting scorers. Because I'm telling you right now, if the Lakers are games below 500 at the break, first to go. D'Lo, Reeves, first to go. Reeves is going to be tough because we all love Reeves. We had a lot of Reeves potential. He had 20 points a game in the West Finals. He looked pretty good. But he's a liability on defense. And if he's not scoring 17, 20 points a game, which he should be at 17 a night. Because D'Lo's not doing that. Dude, D'Lo, I looked at his logs, multiple games below 10 points. I said 11 to be nice.
Yeah.
He's got multiple single-digit games. 2 for 6, 2 for 8, 3 for 11 games. LeBron AD had a bad game. So what, dude? So what? They have it once a month. They're all in their 30s. They've been dominant for a majority of the season. It's really up to you to be that supporting cast. And say what you want about this team. I've seen this team at its potential. It's a really damn good team. It's just up to them. And if they're not scoring, even if LeBron and AD are Shaq and Kobe, it's going to be rough.
The
Lakers have lost games this year with LeBron and AD scoring over 30, both of them.
Yeah.
It's rough.
The problem is that LeBron doesn't have a lot of time left.
No.
You know? I know a lot of people already have him as the GOAT, but you have to understand if he gets that 5th championship, I think a lot of people think he's going to be the consensus GOAT. I know a lot of people think he's the consensus GOAT, but even more people are going to say, like, even Michael Jordan fans will probably say that LeBron is the GOAT.
50
No,
votes will not.
I'm not saying like all. I'm not saying all of them.
Old heads will never come around it. They'll still have the hate in the heart for LeBron. They'll say like it took him longer to do it or something like that.
Yeah. It's just like I'm just saying like these last couple years, because like LeBron wins one like when he's almost 40. It's like it's gone. It's gone.
When they won the bubble, I said, "This is LeBron's chance to get to 6." I thought they were going to go back to back after they won the bubble. I thought they were that good, and they've completely fumbled the opportunity. Next year, if I'm being like an unbiased LeBron fan, I think this is the last year LeBron James comes close to being a top 10 player. I think this is the last year.
Yeah, I think
You could argue he's a top 10 player today. It's a little harder today to do it because early in the season he was phenomenal. He was like 27 a game. He was a leading scorer in the 4th quarter. He was insane to start the year. But I think this is the last year that we'll ever get to say LeBron's like close to being a top 10 player. I think, especially since players are getting better, Anthony Edwards, SGA, he's going to dip to like below 15 next year.
Like there's going to be a point, and that's not hate LeBron. Being a top 20 player is fine. It's just that like you can't look. LeBron should not be a number 1 on the championship team right now.
No, it's Anthony Davis's team now. I fully understand Anthony Davis's team now.
And like the problem with Anthony Davis is that one, he's 30. He's going to be 31, I think, in like 2 weeks. And he's injury prone. So you don't have a lot of time to build a championship team.
It's just up to D'Angelo Russell. Again, could they get an upgrade at 3-and-D? I don't know how many guys you can get upgrade to 3-and-D with OG Anunoby gone. I get it's like terrible to play basketball with Jared Vanderbilt existing, Cam Reddish not being able to hit threes. But I've seen this team. You could say it's an insanity run if you want. I don't think it is. At its full potential, when it's locked in, everyone's playing their role, dominate the Pelicans, who, by the way, are pretty good at basketball. Dominate the Pacers, who, by the way, are pretty good at basketball. Now, this was without Bradley Beal, but dominate the Suns, who are pretty good at basketball, to win an in-season tournament and play championship-level basketball. They look like a finals team to me. And if D'Angelo Russell and Reeves are clocking in this kind of production when the game matters, not D'Lo stat padded in garbage time, there's no way the Lakers can be contenders. And by February, those guys will be the first people out the door. Like, oh, DeJounte Murray, who wants to come over? Yeah, they're going to throw Reeves. They're going to throw D'Lo in a package as soon as they have the opportunity. Reeves is no longer being safe. I think we're at the stage where Austin Reeves is no longer untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
He's not D'Lo level yet. He's not D'Lo level, like, get him to China, like, get him out of here type player. He's not. But he's dropping from that untouchable. If you were to tell me the offseason, Austin Reeves was untouchable. What he was doing coming off last season, FIBA, he was untouchable. But this year, he's had some good games, but he needs to be averaging 17 to 18 points a game. And he's just not at that mark yet, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, unless you have another take to get off your chest.
I'm good right now.
Okay.
Ravens losing round 2, but anyway.
Ravens losing. Well, I appreciate you and Donnie coming on, bro. I'm going to try to have some more guests in the podcast in the future. I don't know what I'm going to do next week, but if the Steelers somehow win, I'll definitely try to get you on. But if the Steelers somehow get destroyed, I'll definitely – in the season, just like if you want to get a Steelers take, I'll definitely on here. But I appreciate everyone for listening to episode 88. Follow the social medias, follow Kieran, follow Donnie. And we'll see you guys on Monday because I have a lot to talk about on Monday. Kind of hoping the Eagles lose so I can talk about Nick Sirianni. I'm keeping my narrative alive. What am I pulling for? Pulling for the Steelers to get blown out to keep my Josh Allen narrative alive, plus Tomlin narrative. I got a lot of narratives to talk about on Monday to foreshadow in the future. Let me look at these matchups again. Dolphins to lose. I don't really. If the Dolphins win, I think I'd rather.
I don't really care when that wins that game.
Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest. Kind of rooting for Dak Prescott, so kind of want the Cowboys to win. I'm kind of rooting for Dak Prescott. I've got my entire lifetime the Cowboys losing this game. Like my entire lifetime, the Cowboys have always lost this game. Kind of rooting for that. But until Monday, see ya. And I appreciate Kieran